Hi everyone, it's Simon Keeling here at weatherweb.net on Monday the 17th of June. Thanks again for watching. A reminder that sites are kept free of charge by the adverts you see around the screen here. When you come back and use the site and use the adverts, that's what keeps us free of charge. So thank you for doing that. Now, we've got some questions over what happens after this weekend. It looks as if this week is probably going to be one which is fairly changeable, fairly mixed. I think there will be some rain around, some heavy bursts of rain as well. By the weekend, I think we could find things still unsettled and quite windy. Although having become very warm in the middle part of this week, I think really that's not lasting and we go cooler by the weekend. The question is, what happens later on? And that's where I'm going to be focusing my attention in this video. Don't forget that Gary has recorded the fast forecast as well, and he's looking ahead a few days on there now. We've changed the format a bit, so go and have a look and see what you think of those forecasts. But as I say, in this forecast video, we're going to be concentrating on the slightly longer range. But before we do, I just want to show you this. Look, this remarkable fall off in temperature from the GFS here. Here we are, look, with Tuesday. Here's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. And look at this build in temperature that takes place into Wednesday. But then look at this fall off towards the end of the week and into the weekend. So we're going to get a very, very brief taste of some hot air coming up from Europe, which I was talking about yesterday, and then it tails off. Also notice here, look, we've got some outbreaks of rain through much of the week, on and off through much of the coming week, although I do think conditions settle down into next week. Now, as I said, question marks really over what happens at the very end of this forecast period. This is the chart from the ECMWF, valid for midnight on the 27th. That's midnight going into Thursday the 27th. And notice here, look, we've got low pressure out towards the west of the UK, low pressure here across Scandinavia as well. And just this hint of a weak ridge of high pressure just across the south of the country. Now, given this scenario, this would put Scotland and Ireland and northern England, and possibly all the way down through Wales and the Midlands, in unsettled conditions. But the far south of England would probably be dry, although you wouldn't rule out the risk of rain still there. Now compare that to the ECMWF ensemble for the same time, and look, you see how much more it's made of the ridge of high pressure. So whereas we had pressure here of around 1,014 millibars on the last chart, we've now got 1,020 plus. So this certainly hints at high pressure building in. Still got a westerly flow, look, so that still indicates that probably the north and northwest of Scotland may catch some outbreaks of rain, but for most of the country this would be dry, warm and pretty sunny, particularly through central and eastern areas. The GEM, which is the Canadian model for the same time, also backs up that idea. Look, here's the weak ridge of high pressure. Now, they do have a front through here, just as a weak feature coming southeastwards. That's a cold front there that would bring some showery rain through Scotland and through Ireland, and perhaps across the rest of the UK, apart from the far south during the course of the day. But I think what we can take from this is that generally pressure's high. Look, it's 1,020 millibars still across the north. So for most, it's a dry day. Again, sunny spells, relatively warm, but just those bits and pieces of showery rain, mainly across northern and western parts of Scotland, as well as the west of Ireland. But for most, it's dry. And also the GFS ensemble here again for the same time. So a little bit later. This is for 7 o'clock in the morning on Thursday the 27th. And look, here's the ridge. So the ridge is definitely in there, and it's hinted at through most of the charts here. And again, look, 1,020 millibars running through northern England. So this one again is dry, although they too have a hint of a front just lying down through here, bringing some showery rain to the north and the west of Scotland. But for most of the country, I think we'd be safe to say it would be generally dry. And so assuming that that's the pattern we go with, let's just take the ensemble forward. This is the chart for 7 o'clock on Monday the 1st of July, and again, look, here's our ridge of high pressure, and again we're staying generally dry with sunny spells, although hints of some weak fronts across the north and the west. And right at the very end of the forecast period on the ensemble here, look, here's our ridge again, nosed into the country from the Azores high here, and so we stick with a generally dry theme, although still these northern and western parts of Scotland are the ones that could see some outbreaks of rain and drizzle at times. And what are the CFS then? What does that say? Does that agree with this idea of the end of June, beginning of July being dry? And I'm aware that in the last few videos I've been talking about this, but I want to emphasise how we're building confidence in it. This is the forecast for week 2, so this takes us forward from the 24th of June through to Sunday the 30th of June. And you can see here, look, that during this week, it still says there's a trough there, but you've got high pressure building to the west and to the east. I think this trough is going to be in during the first part of the week. Now then compare that with where we go to week 3, which is the 1st of July through the 7th of July, and look, we've almost got these higher than normal heights right the way from the pole down through the UK, hinting at this high pressure building in. So this is this drier spell of weather. Big trough though here, look, forming across Greenland, and again another trough here across the central parts of Russia. So certainly it's only much colder there than it has been. And then if we take a look at week 4, well, look, the high pressure well and truly in. You can't really take too much notice of the dates here, but this is the 8th of July to the 14th. High pressure well and truly in. It's hinting that the heights are highest towards the north of the country, so the high pressure definitely dominating towards the north. I think some warm conditions while this takes place. I think what we've got to notice, though, is that the jet stream probably is going to be down towards the south. Now, as we've seen over the last few days, if that's a little bit further north, so should that be sort of in this area here, which it quite easily could be, remember how far away we are here, then it could be that the south of England sees some outbreaks of rain again. So it's this far south of England, right at the very end of the forecast period, that again raises these questions as to how exactly dry it will be. But the drier emphasis for the weather looks as if it's going to be across Scotland, Northern Ireland, Northern England, certainly into that very end stage of, certainly into the very, very early stages of July. And just to put some graph across that, this is temperatures. These are temperatures predicted from the CFS, taking us right the way through to the end of July here. Now, of course, you take this with a pinch of salt that far in advance, but it's just interesting to see. And look, it builds temperatures steadily through the end of June, and it keeps the idea of high pressure with us through until around the 6th or the 7th of July, before it then cools off into the middle of the month. A briefer spell of warmer weather mid to late in the month, and then we're cool again. So it's trying to bring in this idea of 2 warm spells during July. And overall, you know, this is just a normal summer, isn't it, really? Nothing exceptional, just a normal summer with these occasional peaks in temperature. But interesting to see this rise taking place here during that early part of the month. So some interesting developments there. I'll leave you with that for now. And thanks again for watching. And don't forget to keep the sun shining. Bye for now.